What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the second video in this series. Last week we ranked every NBA point guard or projected point guards to have a role on their team. This week we are ranking the shooting guards. Now, a few of these guys, Killian Hayes and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for example, those are the only two I see right off the bat. We're actually in last week's episode. I can't find great list. Not every list is going to be perfect. Everybody has their own opinions, but these are some of the better ones that I could find. So that's how I'm going to rank them. These guys have it set as top 5, but I'm actually going to do what we did last week and set it up like this. I can't type whatsoever, so excuse my typing skills. Starter. No, we'll do above average here. I believe that's how it was. Then average, below average, and we'll just do bad. I don't think anyone's going to be in that category. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this tier list. Obviously, shooting guard, you've got some great guys, and you've got some questionable ones. First off, we got Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Let's actually, like last week, we'll pull up basketball reference. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, not too much to say about him. He hasn't really proved himself too much in the NBA yet. If you watch 2K videos, he's an amazing player apparently to 2K, but he's still got to show something to me. He showed some potential, but nothing too crazy. And I think he'll be a decent player, but I'm not ready to put him any higher than average tier. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the second one. Dillon Brooks, will go above average for him. Dillon Brooks really came onto the scene this season as an amazing defender, and we always knew he was a great offensive player, so it's kind of good to see a player like him kind of get that side of the ball, understand it better, be a better defender when you didn't really expect him to. So I think the Grizzlies have a good trade piece there, or a good future small forward beside John Morant, small forward shooting guard. So I think he'll be a solid piece in their future. He's not ever going to be a superstar, but he's going to be a guy that you want on your team. Colin Sexton, above average, showed a lot of promise. He wants a lot of money. The Cavs may have to move on from him, but that's nothing against how he is as a player. He is a great player. As you can see, he's just gotten better every year. If we look at his statistics, he hasn't gotten worse. 16, 20, 24. He's gotten better each and every year. It's all you can ask of him. He's a feisty guy. He's going to hustle. He's going to give you energy. And I think he's going to be a great shooting guard to go in the future of his career. So we'll see what happens with him in Cleveland. Next up, we got Bradley Beal, superstar right there. 30 points per game for as long as I can remember. He's been playing amazing in Washington. For whatever reason, he's very loyal to Washington. You can say what you want about that, but it shows some pride and some good characteristics for Bradley Beal. As a shooting guard, he's amazing. He's not the best defender, but if he gets traded, he's going to make a big impact on a championship team. And if he doesn't get traded, he's going to be the best player in Washington for a long time to come. It's really up to him to decide whether he wants to leave or not. So yeah, I think superstar caliber is good for him. Seth Curry now, we'll go with average. He is okay defender, okay on any other side of the offense except for three-pointing. He's a three-point shooting. He is an amazing three-point shooter. Obviously, he's a Curry brother. That's really all they have him for, a little bit of defense and three-point shooting. So that's what the 76ers needed with Ben Simmons. It'll be interesting to see if they really need it if they trade Ben Simmons. So keep up on that. Average at best. Talent Horton Tucker, average. potential, but he hasn't shown anything. And I don't necessarily agree with how unwilling the Lakers are to separate from Talon Horton-Tucker. THT has shown some promise, but he hasn't really ever gotten too much experience in game, and we haven't seen anything from him really. So I feel like if they were able to get a star in a trade, but they were unwilling to include him, that's kind of an L for the Lakers. So we'll keep him at average. I could see him moving up. I could see him falling down. Anthony Edwards, above average. Ant-Man, he almost won Rookie of the Year. You can argue that he should have. Anthony Edwards apparently does not exist on Basketball Reference. You could argue that he did deserve Rookie of the Year, averaging 19 points. I didn't even know it was that much. I thought it was maybe like 15. 19 points, 3 assists, over a steal, and 5 rebounds. So he had a big impact in Minnesota. Obviously, they were still bad, but he is going to be a big future piece there. I see him going nowhere but up. All-star, maybe even superstar eventually. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and above average is probably best case scenario for him right now. I'm actually going to put him second behind Colin Sexton. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he was in our point guard video, so that's a little awkward, but we did have him in this same tier. He's an all-star. Watch that video if you want a more in-depth discussion of him. He's a great player. He's going to be a great player in the future. Fred VanVleet, another one that I believe was in the point guard video. I apologize once again. I don't make these tiers, but these are some of the better ones that I could find. He's all-star. Kevin Porter Jr. now. I struggle with this one. We're going to say above average, but he's going to be below Colin Sexton and Anthony Edwards. He had a 50-point game against my Milwaukee Bucks last year where they beat us. He's definitely got the offensive side of the ball down pat. He needs to continue to work on that defense, stay out of the partying, don't get in trouble, and he has a bright future ahead of him. So the entire Rockets team has a bright future. Kevin Porter Jr., I could see him rising quickly, and I could also see him falling quickly due to some of his outside of basketball tendencies. He's not necessarily the best person to count on to not get in trouble or break rules that the NBA has. So we'll have to keep an eye on his personal issues as well. But above average is good for him right now. Donovan Mitchell, do I say superstar? I'm going to say superstar. Donovan Mitchell has been in the league for 4 years now, I believe. Maybe 5. If it's 5, then that's crazy. Basketball Reference is messing up right now. Donovan Mitchell has been in the league for 4 years. Yes, I was correct. Two years as an all-star. He's led the Jazz to the playoffs all 4 years, I believe. After being the 13th overall pick, he's a great player, great defender. He's fast. He's a slasher. He really is very similar to Dwayne Wade, but he can shoot the 3-ball a little bit better than Wade ever could. So I think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar, and I don't see him falling off anytime soon. Utah's got a bright spot there with him, and they're going to be contenders for a while as long as he's there. CJ McCollum will go above average at the beginning. He used to be an all-star caliber player, but he's kind of fallen off the last few years when they really needed him the most. So I think if you want an all-star caliber tier, you have to be someone that they can rely on during the playoffs. And while Dame's been putting up 60 points in the playoffs, CJ McCollum's been putting up like 12. So they haven't been able to count on him. His defense has never been good. He's an above average shooting guard. High tier above average, but above average at best. Buddy Hield, we'll put him at the end of not all-star, at above average. Great three-point shooter, decent defender. Hopefully he gets traded. It's probably best for him and Sacramento. So that's where I'm going to keep him. Zach LaVine now, all-star, not superstar yet. If the Bulls are good this year and he leads them, he could definitely go into that superstar category. They finally have a chance to make a playoff push with DeMar and Alonzo Ball coming in. Nikola Vucevic finally having a full season there. This team looks like they could be really good, and Zach LaVine should finally be able to get rid of the whole empty stats narrative that is against him, similar to what Bradley Beal does. So I think Zach LaVine's going to be good this year. Hopefully he stays at that all-star caliber level. And if he does great, he could jump up to superstar. Who knows? Killian Hayes, he was in the last video as a point guard. I'm going to keep him in the same category, below average. Came onto the scene late last year playing good. But I don't think he has too much of a future as an above-average starter or anything. So he's maybe a bench piece. Dante Di Vincenzo, average. As a Bucks fan, I really like Dante. He hustles. He gets tons of rebounds. I remember a couple games last year he had no points, but he'd have like 12 to 13 rebounds. And let's see what his statistics are. I know he's definitely our hustle player. He got 6 rebounds a game last year, which is really good for a shooting guard, in my opinion. So I can't really put him above average, or he's obviously not all-star or above average. So average is going to be the best place for him. He's a good defender. He hustles. He shoots threes. That's all they needed from him, and he definitely does that well. Devin Booker, where'd he go? Superstar. No question about it. Don't even need to talk about him, really. Finals, he played amazing. Luckily, my Bucks pulled it through, but he's a future star in this league, and he already is a star. Tim Hardaway Jr., above average. I'm going to put him about right here. Why is his picture so small? He's good, an okay defender. He is really a spark plug for that Mavericks team. He didn't show up in the playoffs. I expect him to be better next year. And the Mavericks have a good piece right there for their bench, and he can come in and start if they really ever need him to. Derek White, average to high-tier average to above average. He showed a lot of promise. He's had games where he looks like he could be the next star in San Antonio. And then he's also had games where you're kind of like, he's just meh. So average at best for him. Bogey, above average. We'll put him right here because I'd take these guys ahead of him. Obviously, he was injured against us in the playoffs last year, but he's showed a lot of promise. He should be in Milwaukee, in my opinion, so that's unfortunate. But the Hawks got a good player there with that trade. He's only going to get better. He is already 28 or 29, though, so that's a drawback from that. He's definitely still a good piece to have on your team. Jalen Brown, all-star. Bright future ahead of him. That whole Celtics organization has so many bright pieces. Even him and Jason Tatum still have so much potential to fulfill. He can definitely be that second star that they need. His defense is amazing. His offense is amazing. He just fills the void that they could have had they not drafted him. He does so much on the court for them, and he just hustles, and that's really what they needed. So yeah, all-star to superstar caliber for him in the future I could see. Evan Fournier for the Knicks, above average. He kind of just scores and plays a little bit of defense. Can't really say much about him. Nothing too crazy. Victor Oladipo, in a couple years ago, would be in the all-star category. But now I'm actually going to put him around here. I would take all of those guys above Victor Oladipo. And that's just due to injuries. Nothing against him. He just couldn't stay healthy. He was playing like an all-star. He was an all-star. Gets injured, and he never really got the chance to come back. I feel so bad for him, but it kind of looks like his career might be waning down on him way too early. Stuff like that happens, and I hope that he's prepared for his future. But above average is where I'll put him. Klay Thompson, since we haven't seen him in so long, I'm going to put him at the end of all-star. He's never really been that superstar candidate, but he would have been high-end all-star if he had been able to stay healthy. But I think he'll come back, and his play style really allows for him to come back fine from his injuries, just shooting it. Like, he never really was one of those fancy dribblers or anything. Charis Levert in Indiana, above average, right about here. I like Charis Levert. He did have some issues with health last year. I think he comes back and he's really going to help Indiana be a better team this year. I don't think they're a playoff team at all. But he's going to be a key piece in their future. I think he's 27, maybe 26, 27. So he's still got a good bit of his prime left. in my opinion. Let's see if I'm right about his age. Yeah, 27 for Charis Levert. So he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. He's got some good years left. He averaged 20 this past year. Overall, just amazing for him. He's going to be a good piece for them. Will Barton, I'll just put him right about here. Defense, good. Offense, okay. He's been in the Nuggets for as long as I can remember. He's just always been a good guy. He has what used to be more athletic, and he's just gonna hustle for them. That's all they really need him to do. So above average at shooting guard position. Gary Harris, this is a tough one because he showed promise, but a few of these guys I've ranked badly because all they have is shown a little bit of promise. So I'm putting him right here. Let's go look. Gary Harris is an interesting case because for a few years there, you could have argued that Gary Harris looked like he had a brighter future in Denver than Jamal Murray. If you look, rookie year, only 3.4 points. Second year, 12 points, 15 points, almost 18 points. And then from there down, it's just kind of a slippery slope. He got it back up to 10 points this year in only 19 games started, only 20 games played. So last time he averaged 17 points was when he played the most games of his career. I do think he can get it back up around that level. He's just an amazing player, and he's very talented on the offensive side of the ball. His defense is always going to be a liability, so I think he may be able to get back into that above average tier, but he'll never be an all-star or anything. So Paul George, superstar, obviously. I'm going to put him in front of Donovan Mitchell. PG-13, nothing much to say about him. He really broke the pandemic P narrative last year in the playoffs. He played so well. Clippers unfortunately lost, but PG played very decent, and he broke that narrative completely. He's going to be amazing for the years to come. He's still younger. He's about 30, I believe. So he's got plenty of time to play his best years of his basketball. James Harden, superstar. There's no reason you don't take James Harden over any of these guys. Health is a question for him, but I think he'll bounce back just fine. He's going to be the same guy we used to see, unfortunately for us. And last but not least, Terry Rozier. He was actually in our rankings last week as well, I believe. Above average. I'm just going to keep him there. And thank you to Rockets Basis for making this tier list. This is my list, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. I think it's a pretty fair list. A few of these guys, like I said, I didn't really narrate on because they were in last week's video, so check that out if you want. I'll put it in the corner right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment what you would like to see in the future. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button. It helps me out so much on these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and adios.